The 5 lies of spiritual bypassing. You're not healing, you're hiding. The quotes on your wall sound serene. Your feed is sunlit. And yet your chest tightens at night like a hand on a doorknob that never opens. Get this, you didn't fail therapy. You learned a shortcut. Spiritual bypassing. Psychologist John Welwood named it. Trauma research explains why it feels so good. It hijacks the nervous system's threat-calming shortcuts. Smile, reframe, float above. Your body gets quick relief while the unfinished parts keep knocking. Today we'll expose 5 lies and give you tests to catch them in real time. Plus rewiring steps and one hard rule that keeps you honest. Let's start where bypassing feels the most holy and does the most harm. Lie number 1. High vibe only. The avoidance rebranded. Here's the promise. If you stay positive, life will rise to meet you. The cost hides in the fine print. When you train your brain to label sadness, anger, or doubt as threats to your frequency, ordinary human emotions start to feel dangerous. Friends stop sharing messy news. Partners ration truth. Inside, you start monitoring yourself like a security guard, scanning for any feeling that might lower the vibe. Meanwhile, something else is happening. Your nervous system keeps surging and clamping under that smile. Watch how good vibes becomes compulsion. At brunch, your friend mentions a death in the family. The table goes quiet. Someone chirps. They're in a better place. The conversation leapfrogs to gratitude lists. Your friend nods. Thanks everyone. And later cries alone in her car. The group is intact. The grief is homeless. Micro story. A coach gets blindsided when her business partner drains a joint account. Her clients wait for an honest update. Instead, she posts, "This is divine alignment removing what no longer resonates." Payments resume. The betrayal goes unnamed. The fear in her body doesn't. This is the moment that matters. Your body knows the difference between calm and suppression. High vibe only often means emotional avoidance, pushing away internal experience that trades short-term relief for long-term sensitivity. You feel lighter now, but your system learns negative equals unsafe. So it mobilizes anytime something real shows up. You'll feel the sympathetic spikes under the grin, subtle jaw tension, shallow breaths, a restless need to move. By evening, the rebound hits, irritability, doom scroll, a sudden urge to fix your entire life by morning. Impact shows up in trust. With yourself, you stop believing your own words because your body keeps contradicting them. With others, people stop bringing nuance because nuance kept triggering your bright side lecture. The relationship becomes brittle. Pretty, but one tap and it cracks. Meanwhile, what nobody names is the mechanism. Avoidance feels effective because it reduces contact with pain right now. That's rewarding. Your brain logs the move as success. So you do it again and again. Each time, the gap between your public calm and private pressure widens. The pressure leaks into the body as somatic tension. Headaches, chest flutter, upper back pain that forgiveness mantras won't touch. 3 quick tests to catch it. Language audit. Play back the last hard conversation. Did you skip concrete details and rush to meaning? Count the phrases. It's all good. Everything happens for a reason. I'm staying high vibe. If they outnumber specifics, you're avoiding. Body signals. While you say you're calm, check breath depth, jaw softness, and belly tone. If your breath stays in the upper chest, teeth are set, or your gut feels armored, that's suppression, not regulation. Honesty gap. Ask one close friend. When I'm struggling, do you feel safe bringing me complexity? If they hesitate, you have your answer. Micro story. There's the friend who won't grieve her dad. He graduated, she says, eyes bright. Weeks later, she snaps at a barista for forgetting oat milk. The grief didn't vanish, it rerouted. So what changes the pattern? You build negative capacity. Your ability to stay present with uncomfortable emotion without flipping into fix or float. Rewire, step by step. Distress tolerance reps. Set a 2-minute timer. Name the feeling in plain language. Sadness, anger, envy. Keep your posture grounded. Feet planted, shoulders heavy. Do nothing to solve it. Breathe low and slow. The goal isn't peace. It's staying. Urge surf. When the compulsion to reframe arrives, label the urge out loud. Here's the high vibe fix. Watch it crest, hold and fall. 90 seconds is often enough for the wave to pass. Both slash and statements. Replace spiritual absolutes with truth that can hold weight. I'm grateful for the lesson, and I'm still hurt. I trust life, and I'm setting a boundary. Weekly negative capacity practice. Schedule one session where you intentionally tolerate a small, safe discomfort. A difficult email written slowly without self-soothing. A sad song you don't skip. A 5-minute silence after feedback before you speak. Track, breath, muscle tone, time to settle. Meanwhile, social circles enforce vibe rules. Notice punishments for nuance. Eye rolls at downer energy. Invitations withheld after you name frustration. Communities telegraph what's allowed. If complexity gets you ghosted, you are never safe there. Here's where everything shifts. Bring data into repair. The next time you say, "I'm good," add one concrete sensory detail. "My sleep is off, chest feels tight today." Ask for a tiny, specific witness. "Can we sit for 5 minutes?" No fixing. That move teaches your nervous system that contact doesn't equal danger. Microstory. A couple tries this. He's wired for bright side pep talks. She feels unseen. They agree on a rule. Before any reframe, 2 minutes of plain detail. "My stomach dropped when you cancelled," she says. He notices his urge to coach, names it, stays. Her shoulders loosen. Later, he offers perspective. The reframe lands because the body felt met. There's one problem people overlook. Positivity has a place. After contact, not instead of it. Gratitude deepens when it grows out of truth. Otherwise, it's perfume over smoke. If you've been living high vibe only, you're not broken. You trained a sensitive system to fear ordinary weather. Retrain it by letting the rain fall and noticing you're still standing. When positivity fails, people reach for a bigger shield, spiritual destiny. Lie number 2. It's your karma, blame disguised as meaning. When positivity stops working, destiny steps in. It's your karma, people say like it's a bomb. The promise is order, nothing random, everything earned. The cost is hidden. Human pain gets moralized. If your illness, breakup, or layoff is karmic cleanup, then someone must deserve it. That lens keeps you safe from chaos by pushing the mess onto the person who's hurting. And power quietly leaves the room. Here's how it plays out. A patient shares a stage 3 diagnosis. A healer says, "This is a lesson your soul chose." The room nods, relieved to have a reason. The patient nods too, then goes home feeling secretly responsible for cells gone rogue. A worker texts that their boss shaved hours and pay. Their friend replies, "Soul contract. What are you meant to learn?" Action stalls. Advocacy dies in the language of fate. Stakes are real. Victim blaming breeds learned helplessness. If everything is deserved, why ask for better treatment? Why file a grievance? Why confront a predatory landlord? Meanwhile, communities preserve moral distance. If your misfortune is karmic, I don't have to feel how vulnerable I am. I can sit above the flood and call it wisdom. The mechanism is familiar. The just world bias offers comfort. We want to believe good is rewarded and harm is punished. When facts don't match, we bend meaning to reduce cognitive dissonance. She must have attracted it. He wasn't aligned. It keeps anxiety down by offering control. If I live right, I'll be spared. But the price is empathy, and systems stay unchallenged. Microstory. A yoga studio posts after a teacher is outed for harassment. We hold all beings in compassion. This is a karmic opportunity for growth. No mention of a grievance process, no restitution plan, no safety measures. Students read it, shrug, and come back next week. The harmed teacher quits the field. Another, a warehouse worker collapses from heat. Management calls it a wake-up call from the universe. The next day, fans are still broken. What nobody knew at the time was how shame spirals form under karmic framing. If you quietly believe you deserved harm, you'll isolate. You won't reach for repair because repair feels like cheating the moral ledger. You'll tolerate more than you should and call it evolution. 3 tests to catch the lie in real time. Agency check. After you name meaning, can you name a concrete action within your control? If your sentence ends at lesson, you handed your power to the sky. Proximity test. Are you giving karmic explanations from a distance? Notice if meaning increases as closeness decreases. The farther you are from the impact, the easier it is to theorize. Repair before meaning rule. If harm happened, can you list the first repair step? Safety, medical care, boundary, report, restitution. If you can't, you're using meaning to delay repair. Microstory. A therapist hears a client say, "My ex's cruelty is my karma." The therapist pauses. "Maybe. But first, where are your keys and what lock are we changing?" The client laughs, then tears up. Action first. Meaning can wait. Let's talk impact. Passivity grows. You get good at reinterpreting instead of intervening. Shame deepens. Relationships suffer because people can feel the withdrawal. Your attention drifts upward while the problem sits on the table. And institutions love it. If harm is cosmic, leaders never have to fix policies. So how do we rewire without throwing meaning out entirely? We sequence it. Meaning. After repair, make it a rule. Secure immediate safety. Name boundaries. Seek medical, legal, or social support. Only then ask what it means. Meaning rooted in repair doesn't blame. It integrates. Boundary scripts. Practice a sentence that keeps function first. I'm not assigning cosmic reasons while I'm bleeding. First aid, then philosophy. Or, we can reflect after we install the guardrail. Advocacy microaction within 24 hours. One phone call, one report filed, one email to HR, one temperature log submitted, one friend invited to witness. Tiny action interrupts helplessness and shows your nervous system that agency exists. Here's where it gets tricky. You'll meet resistance inside and out. People will say, but karma is real. Maybe. Many traditions hold nuanced views. The issue isn't the concept, it's the timing and the target. Meaning should never land on the shoulders of the injured while the conditions of harm remain. Meanwhile, check your language hygiene. Swap moralized cause with observable cause. Instead of your panic is past life debt. Try, your nervous system is overloaded. Let's downshift and secure sleep. Swap, you attracted the layoff for the company cut costs. Let's review your rights and network. Bring your body into the audit. When you say lesson, scan. Do your shoulders drop because you've found truth? Or because you've escaped uncertainty? Relief from certainty can feel like wisdom. It might be avoidance. Microstory. A community mediator is pressed to rush reconciliation. We're wasting time in blame. Let's move to forgiveness. She spots the pattern. Safety first. Witness statements, consequences, and a timeline. Then, if the harmed party chooses, we explore forgiveness. The room exhales. The process slows. Trust returns because structure arrived. One last guardrail. Never use meaning to move pain off your plate onto someone smaller. If your explanation leaves the powerful untouched and asks the harmed to be holier, pause. You're laundering blame through the language of destiny. Meaning can heal when it's earned by action. Until then, keep your hands busy, repair, boundary, advocate, rest. Then ask the bigger questions with your feet on the ground. Lie number 3. I'm above it. Bypassing with non-duality. When blame can't hold the chaos, transcendence volunteers. There's no self, it's all illusion. From the absolute, nothing's wrong. These lines can bring real spaciousness. They can also become a smoke machine that hides the human who's hurting right in front of you. The stakes are simple. Spiritual superiority kills intimacy. Conflict doesn't disappear. It goes underground where it festers. Watch how it unfolds. A community leader makes a cutting comment about a volunteer's body in front of the group. Later, he's asked to apologize. He smiles softly. Who would apologize? The self is a construct. The volunteer goes home shaking. The group debates metaphysics. The repair never happens. Here's the relief under this move. When you're flooded with shame or rage, depersonalization feels like calm. Step back far enough, and the heat drops. The trick is that dissociation can mimic equanimity. Breathing slows. Muscles soften. You tell yourself you're in non-duality when you're actually out of your body. Meanwhile, the person you hurt still has a nervous system that remembers the moment in detail. Microstory. A partner is confronted for missing childcare pickups. Preferences are ego, he says. In awareness, there's no problem. His co-parent stands in the kitchen holding a crying toddler, tracking the clock. The dishwasher hums. The problem remains. This is where everything changes. Non-duality has levels. There's the conceptual use, the phrases you can recite. There's the state experience, the brief, real dissolving of self-other lines. And there's the trait embodiment, where insight shows up as practical care. If your metaphysics doesn't increase specificity, accountability, and repair, it's not integrated. It's costume. What nobody names at first is how abstraction gaslights. Swap concrete harm for cosmic frames, and you confuse the injured person's sense-making. If all is one, why do I still feel scared around you? Because bodies track patterns even when minds float. Oneness isn't a hall pass, it's a responsibility upgrade. 3 tests to catch the bypass. Specificity test. Can you describe the event in plain behavior terms? Who did what, when, and its effect, without doctrine? If you can't, you're hiding behind the view. Proximity to impact. Are you willing to sit near the person affected, hear the detail you'd rather avoid, and repeat back their words accurately? Distance makes denial easy. Closeness makes truth sticky. Repair ritual requirement. Can you outline a repair sequence, acknowledgement, consequence, behavior change, and follow-up, without diluting it with nothing matters? If repair feels optional because it's all awareness, you've left the human realm where relationships live. Microstory. A meditation group adopts these tests. After an incident, the facilitator resists. We're reinforcing separation. The group pauses. A senior student says, "Non-duality that can't include accountability is half a teaching." They implement a repair circle. Attendance rises. People trust the space again. Mechanism matters. Non-dual language short-circuits cognitive dissonance. If you can reframe harm as illusion, you don't have to feel it or change. That's control, not freedom. Control soothes the nervous system in the moment. Long-term, it breeds avoidance and secrecy. You'll notice the signs: subtle eye-gazing instead of direct answers, breath that flattens when details approach, statements that generalize everything. We all do this, so nobody does anything. To rewire, think grounded non-duality. Name the harm. One sentence, no metaphysics. I interrupted you and mocked your idea in front of the team. Name the body. When I say that, I feel heat in my chest and a drop in my stomach. This reconnects awareness with interoception. So calm isn't just a concept. Make the repair. Here's what I'll do. Apologize in the group chat today. Ask if you want me to correct it in the next meeting. And I'll add a speaking order, so I don't dominate. Then set a date to confirm. Practice specificity as devotion. Each concrete act is the teaching moving from mind to muscle. If all is one, then the floor you sweep is also you. You'll hit internal pushback. A quiet voice will say, "This is samsara, don't cling." Answer it. Not clinging includes not clinging to the identity of the one who's always right. You may also hear, "This level of detail is small mind." Try this replacement. Small acts create large safety. Microstory. A teacher who loves talking emptiness begins a new ritual. After each retreat, an anonymous feedback form with public summaries of changes made. From the absolute, there's no harm, he says in the closing talk. From the relative, your nervous systems are here. We'll meet you there. People line up to thank him with tears, not because the teaching changed, but because the teaching bent down. Meanwhile, remember the proximity rule with yourself. If you're tempted to dissolve a fight by saying, "We're both awareness," pause. Touch something real. I see your face went blank when I raised my voice. I'm turning the volume down. That sentence can carry a transmission stronger than 100 pristine concepts. One more guardrail. If someone invokes non-duality to avoid a boundary, your limit is separation. Hold the line. My limit creates safety for us to test your teaching. Boundaries aren't ego, they're scaffolding for trust. Paradox lives here. The wider the view, the finer the care. Real awakening widens capacity to include the ordinary. It makes you more reparable, not less. If elevation fails, optimization steps in, with perfect routines that never touch grief. Lie number 4. I'm doing the work. Rituals instead of repair. If elevation doesn't land, optimization takes the stage. Calendars fill. You start saying, "I'm doing the work," and you mean it. Breath work, shadow journaling, workshops, ice baths, red light, supplements labeled nervous system reset. Your days look disciplined. But meanwhile, your partner still flinches when you promise a change. Your team stops trusting deadlines. The stakes are simple. Productivity spiritualized turns healing into a performance. Busy replaces better. Watch the loop. You break a commitment on Tuesday. By Wednesday, you've booked a somatic workshop. Thursday, you write 6 pages about your childhood. Friday, you post a reflection on radical ownership. Saturday, you feel lighter. Sunday night, the behavior repeats. The sorry arrives on schedule, dressed in insight. The impact doesn't budge. Here's why this happens. Rituals deliver dopamine. The planning, the equipment, the novelty. Your identity fuses with someone who heals. That feels good. Progress theater gives you applause from yourself and from your circle. But the nervous system learns what you do, not what you declare. If the behavior in the relationship or on the team stays the same, all the breath work becomes a private hobby. Microstory. A manager blows up in meetings, then sends long reflections about his triggers. He attends a leadership retreat, posts the workbook, quotes the facilitator. 2 weeks later, He interrupts the same woman mid-sentence. She stares at the table. His email apology lands. Her trust doesn't. Another. A partner cheats, sobs, does a plant medicine weekend, returns with a revelation, buys a stack of books, creates a ritual altar. 3 months later, the late-night messages resume with a new name. The altar gets another crystal. The repair still hasn't happened where it counts. Behavior, boundaries, consequences. There's a mechanism underneath this. Planning lights up reward. Action costs. Your brain starts preferring the pregame. You'll notice the signs, complex processes, mood-tracking spreadsheets, elaborate morning routines that leave no time to make the call you actually owe. You're optimizing the container while the contents leak. 3 tests to catch the drift. Behavioral delta. Compare your last apology to the previous one. What concrete action changed in the next 7 days? Not a tool you used, an observable behavior. If you can't name a delta, you rehearsed, not repaired. Third-party corroboration. Ask the people affected to reflect back the change they've seen without prompting. If their report doesn't match your self-story, your progress lives on paper. Time to repair metric. Measure the hours between harm and first repair step. If that number isn't shrinking over months, your system is getting better at talking about repair, not doing it faster. Mechanics aside, the impact stacks up. Burnout arrives because rituals multiply while results don't. Cynicism follows. None of this works. When the issue wasn't the tools but the missing bridge to real life. Partners, friends, co-workers stop engaging with your insights. They wait for proof. You feel unseen, double down on practice, and drift further from the thing that would actually rebuild trust. One changed behavior repeated. So what rewires this? Minimum effective dose and proof. Minimum effective dose. Strip your toolkit to one regulation practice that takes 5 minutes and one behavior you will change in context. Everything else is optional. The goal is energy conserved for action. One behavior contract. Name a single commitment in plain language with a deadline and a consequence. I will not cancel day of again this month. If I cancel, I'll send childcare, cover dinner, and lose the next weekend plan I want. Put it in writing. Share it. 7-day proof challenge. For 1 week, log only binary outcomes tied to the contract. Did you keep the commitment? Yes or no? Did you initiate repair within 72 hours when you slipped? Yes or no? No essays. Data over diary. Consequence agreements. Pre-decide costs with the person affected. Consequences aren't punishments, they're structure. They redistribute burden back to the source of the harm and give your nervous system a reason to choose differently under pressure. Microstory. A founder chronically replies late to the team, then hosts morale circles. They implement a consequence agreement. If she misses a 24-hour response window, a teammate gets veto power on a non-critical feature that week. Suddenly, replies arrive on time. Not because she's more enlightened, because the system started reflecting reality back. Meanwhile, groups collude with ritual theater. Retreat highs get praised. Sober follow-through gets ignored. Change your reward structure. In your circle, clap for the unglamorous act. The on-time arrival, the direct correction, the boring, steady boundary. Ask each other, what changed that someone else could see? Make that the story you tell, not the peak you reached under a cedar tree. You'll feel friction. The identity of, I'm doing the work, hates constraints. It loves infinite process. Answer it with a quiet rule. No new tools until one behavior holds for 30 days. Depth isn't more, it's repeatable. One last check. When you feel the urge to announce your growth, ask, who needs to feel this, my followers or the person I hurt? If the answer isn't the person impacted, close the app and open your calendar. Repair lives where someone felt the cost. That's where your next rep belongs. Stage 2. Controlled exposure to constructive chaos. CIA tie-in first. This is controlled exposure, small, deliberate contact with uncertainty that expands capacity. Why this matters? Your window of tolerance grows through graded challenges, not through perfect plans. If recon showed where you leak presence, exposure is where you build it back, one precise edge at a time. The consequence of skipping this is familiar. You keep logging patterns while your life stays the same. The benefit of doing it right is immediate, faster recovery, richer perception, and the felt sense that I can stay with this even when the script tilts. What we're doing? Picking domains and dosing unpredictability. There are 4 arenas to choose from: body, mind, relationships, and environment. Start with 1 or 2. Body gives you clear feedback. cold, heat, tempo balance. Mind gives you novelty, idea sprints, problem inversion, stochastic reading. Relationships give you truth reps, one kind reveal, one boundary, one repair attempt. Environment gives you context shifts, route randomness, device sabbaths, sensory variety. The point is not to suffer, it's to train presence when you can't control the variables. Now the dose-response ladder, micro to meso. Micro equals daily 1 to 5 minute reps that nudge your system. 20 seconds of colder water at the end of your shower. 1 honest sentence in a low-stakes chat. 3 minutes of free writing without backspace. 1 block walk with your phone on airplane mode. Meso equals 10 to 60 minute reps, 2 to 3 times per week. A device-free nature walk, a simple workout with slower eccentrics, an unplanned hour with only one guiding question, a structured repair conversation, using a single statement of impact and a single request. Let me show you exactly how to build a week. Pick 2 of your stage 1 calm crutches. Pair each with a counter-rep. If you over-meditate at the first twinge, your counter-rep might be a 90-second feel label exhale, stay with it before any soothing. If you people-please in meetings, your counter-rep is 1 clarifying sentence per meeting. I see it differently. May I add 1 line? That's it. Small, consistent, and trackable. Rules that keep this safe and effective. Change 2 variables max per week. More than that, and you're measuring chaos, not capacity. Raise difficulty 5 to 10% after wins. If a cold finish at 20 seconds feels doable, go to 30 seconds, not 2 minutes. Keep stakes low-medium. Speak a truth about logistics, not values, until your system shows quicker recovery. Make reps reversible. You should be able to abort mid-rep without shame. That keeps curiosity online. Examples to steal: body, 3 rounds of 4-second down, 2-second pause, controlled up on a lightweight movement. 30 seconds single leg balance while turning your head left-right. 30-second cold finish. Mind, 5-minute idea sprint. Generate 15 bad solutions to 1 problem. Problem inversion. How could I guarantee this fails? Then reverse. Stochastic reading. Open a nonfiction book to a random page and apply 1 sentence. Relationships. 1 truth kindly rule. State the smallest actionable truth with warmth. Boundary rep. I can do A, not B. Repair start. When X happened, I felt Y. Next time, could we try Z? Environment. Pick a new route home. Eat without a screen. Rearrange your desk. Add 1 sensory variable. Music you'd never choose, a different light, a new scent. Now here's where most people mess up. They jump to max difficulty because they're impatient, then conclude chaos doesn't work. Or they pick drama, late-night arguments, quitting on impulse, then call the fallout a lesson. That's not exposure, that's self-sabotage. We want complexity without the cliff. Another error is stacking reps without integration. You'll feel busy and brave, but the learning won't stick. We fix that in stage 3 with debrief loops. A simple daily structure, morning prime. Pick 1 micro rep and 1 backup. Say them out loud. Midday tag. When the urge to soothe shows up, run the 90-second wave first. Feel label, lengthen exhale, widen visual field. Then do the rep. Evening check. 1 line. Edge found was X. I stayed Y seconds. Recovery felt Z. Quick win you can take today. Adopt the 10% unpredictability rule. Once per day, make 1 choice you didn't prescript. Sit in a different seat. Order the second option. Take stairs. Ask 1 sincere question you wouldn't usually ask. Tiny detours teach your system that novelty is survivable and sometimes better. Let me add a micro story to anchor this. A designer I worked with could handle tight deadlines, but panicked at open briefs. We built a mind and environment stack, 5-minute ugly first draft sprints and a daily desk shuffle. Reposition 1 object, change 1 tab group. Week 1, agitation. Week 2, faster starts. Week 4, she initiated an ambiguous project without spiraling. Not because the work got easier, but because ambiguity plus action became familiar. Remember the growth. Markers you're looking for: shorter time to start after a surge, quicker return to baseline, and a rising sense of, I can meet this. If those move, you're dosing right. If you dread tomorrow's rep, shrink it. If you forget to do it, it's too small, raise it slightly. Exposure earns raw material. Integration locks it in. That's next. Stage 3. Debrief and integration loops exposure, without integration leaks gains. You can do 10 brave reps and still feel stuck if your system files them as random stress. Debrief is where stress turns into instruction. Why this matters? Reflection consolidates learning. In brain terms, you're tagging what to keep so your nervous system updates its models. Skip this and your progress stays fragile. One bad day and you'll conclude it didn't work, even though you just didn't lock it in. Here's the thing most people miss. After a spike, you've got a brief window where your brain is hyperreceptive. If you use that window to ruminate, replay what went wrong, self-criticize, catastrophize, you're practicing avoidance by another name. If you use it to extract signals, capacity compounds. We're after operational clarity, not autobiography. Short, simple, same structure every time. What to do exactly? Run a 10-minute debrief right after any constructive chaos rep. Same day, ideally within an hour. 3 questions, always in this order. What surprised me? This pulls novelty to the surface, the exact moments that carry the most learning. What did I avoid? Name the micro-escape. Hedging a word, looking away, skipping the last 20 seconds. What changed? One observable shift. Started faster, recovered quicker, said one truth, stayed 5 seconds longer. Keep answers concrete. I realized I'm broken is not data. I waited only 30 seconds before speaking is data. We want behaviors, body cues, and specific phrases you used. Think of it like pulling black box data from a flight. Altitude, speed, course correction, no poetry. How to run the loop step by step. Step 1. Downshift the system so your cortex is online. 2 minutes. Feel your feet, name 5 objects in the room. Take 5 longer exhales than inhales. Widen your visual field by softening your gaze. This shifts you from threat to challenge, so the analysis doesn't turn into self-attack. Step 2. Write 3 short answers to the 3 questions. 1 to 3 lines each. If you drift into storytelling, stop and bullet the next line. Step 3. Extract a single keep doing behavior. Call it your pattern memo. Keep. 1 honest sentence before solution. That's your retention tag. A quick example so you can hear the tone. Surprise. I thought the silence would feel awkward. It actually made the other person open up. Avoid. I softened my boundary with maybe at the end. Change. I named the tight chest and still asked for clarity. Recovery in 3 minutes, not 10. Pattern memo. Keep. Speak the boundary without maybe. Now here's where most people mess up. They confuse reflection with rumination. Rumination asks, why am I like this? 100 ways and ends nowhere. Debrief asks, what happened and what will I try next? And ends with a single next action or a reinforcement. If you feel heavier after the debrief, you likely slipped into autobiography or judgment. Bring it back to signals. Another mistake, waiting until the weekend to process everything. Delay blurs the details your brain needs to wire accurately. Debriefing is like saving a file while the program is still open. You capture the live state, not a fuzzy screenshot later. 10 minutes today beats an hour on Sunday. Common question. What if the rep went terribly? Perfect, more data. Ask, what capacity broke? Not, what's wrong with me? Maybe pacing collapsed, maybe breath shortened, maybe you changed 2 variables. Your next rep becomes obvious. Shrink the dose, pick 1 variable, install the 90-second wave earlier. Failure, here is telemetry. Let me give you a micro-story to anchor it. A client tried a repair conversation and spiraled into defensiveness. In the debrief, they spotted 3 signals. Breath went high and fast, eye contact broke, they jumped to justifications. Pattern memo. Keep. Exhale weighted breathing before replying. Cue. Eyes on a fixed point near their face. Next conversation, they installed that. The content didn't magically improve, but their recovery did, from 20 minutes to 5. That's integration at work. Checkpoint you can use today. After your next edge rep, write 1 sentence for each question and 1 keep. If your keep shows up in tomorrow's behavior, you're locking in plasticity. If you forget it, make the memo shorter and post it where you'll see it before the next rep. Integration rewards repetition, not eloquence. Final note, keep the loop portable. Notebook, notes app, voice memo, whatever you'll use. Consistency beats aesthetics. Run this after micro and meso reps alike, and you'll feel gains stacking. Shorter avoidance latency, clearer. Signals, steadier presence. This loop turns chaos from noise into a syllabus. Lesson by lesson, day by day. Stage 4. Shadow encounters without bypass. We've run recon, exposure, and integration. Now we loop recon and debrief inside the arena where most growth gets blocked. The shadow. CIA tie-in. You'll use intel from exposure to spot shadow activations, then debrief to integrate so they don't run the show. Redundancy matters here. Have multiple ways to meet a trigger so you don't cling to one fix and call it enlightenment. Why this matters? Unowned traits drive compulsions. The parts you refuse to be, needy, angry, envious, superior, messy, leak through sideways as people-pleasing, contempt, vague boundaries, spiritual perfectionism. Chaos reveals them because unpredictability strips your control strategies. If you keep bypassing with love and light, you'll cement a persona and outsource your darkness onto others. Integration frees up energy, authenticity, and choice. Here's what we're actually doing: shadow spotting and role work. We'll use a simple triad to decode triggers in real time. Trigger, role you play, inverted desire you won't admit. The trigger is the cue that spikes you: someone bragging, a friend counseling, a partner's silence. The role is the costume you put on: martyr, judge, saint, genius, victim, fixer. The inverted desire is the secret wish underneath: see me. Let me take up space. Let me be messy. Let me lead. Let me rest. That inversion is gold. What you condemn in them is often what you're starving to own. Let me show you exactly how to run triad. Step 1. Catch the trigger. Name it out loud or on paper. He interrupted me. Step 2. Name the role you slid into. I became the stoic saint. Step 3. Name the inverted desire. I want to interrupt back and claim space. You don't have to act on it yet. The act is to admit it. Admission dissolves the pressure that fuels projection. Now for the practice that makes this stick: 5-minute role reversal. Argue the opposite of your belief sincerely. If you're certain, I mustn't be needy, switch sides for 5 minutes and argue why expressing need is responsible and adult. Do it out loud, standing, with a timer. This primes your nervous system to hold contradiction without collapse and gives your cortex fresh language for the integrated position. It's not about changing your mind, it's about adding range. Let's make it concrete with 2 common shadows. Superiority shadow. You pride yourself on being composed and rational. Trigger. Someone shows raw anger. Role. The enlightened adjudicator. Inverted desire. I want permission to be angry. Role reversal. For 5 minutes, make the case that anger is information, not a failure. Then, dose a micro rep. Name 1 irritation kindly today. Debrief. What surprised me? What did I avoid? What changed? Pattern memo. Keep. 1 honest irritation, 8-second exhale first. Vulnerability shadow. You're the helper who never asks. Trigger. Seeing others set boundaries. Role. The selfless giver. Inverted desire. I want to say no and be loved anyway. Role reversal. Argue why saying no increases trust. Micro rep. 1. No. I'm at capacity. Message with warmth. Debrief as usual. Rotate to a different arena if it spikes too hard. The thing most people miss: integration is fluid, not a new identity. Don't make "I'm shadowy and intense" your next costume. Today you might need to own fierceness. Tomorrow you might need to own tenderness. Keep it operational. Edges, reps, reflections. The moment you crystallize a trait as "who I am now," you'll calcify again. Now, safety and fieldcraft so you can stay online. Use the 90-second wave when a shadow trigger hits. Feel the surge where it lives. Label the emotion plainly: anger, shame, envy. Lengthen the exhale. Widen your visual field. That sequence keeps learning channels open, so you can run triad rather than default to old roles. Microdose intensity. If the topic is high stakes, practice on lower stakes first. Name irritation about logistics before values. Orienting helps. Glance around the room and name 3 colors. It tells your system, we're not in danger. Common mistakes here: turning shadow into confession theater. Oversharing isn't integration, behavior change is. Keep reps small and actionable. Using analysis to avoid action. If you can name 10 archetypes but won't say 1 boundary, you're stuck in biography. Moralizing the shadow. These are capacities, not sins. Treat them like muscles, weak from disuse, not proof of defect. Quick win this week. Name 1 admired trait you secretly disown. Assertiveness, playfulness, sensuality, ambition. Schedule 1 rep to practice it in low stakes. If you admire bold speakers, your rep is a 2-sentence pitch in a friendly meeting. If you admire playful people, your rep is 5 minutes of silly improvisation with a friend or by yourself. Debrief immediately. Tag the keep. Micro story for texture: a founder I. Coach despised needy employees. In Triad, his inverted desire popped. He wanted care when he was overwhelmed. Role reversal cracked it open. He practiced one weekly ask. I need you to own this decision without me. Anger softened, team trust rose, and his body stopped bracing in meetings. Not because he became less demanding, but because he owned the part of him that needed support, so he didn't punish it in others. Redundancy keeps you honest. If a role reversal feels too heady, switch to body. Do a slow strength set to meet frustration somatically, then speak one line. If a truth rep backfires, move to environment. Write it, don't speak it. Send it earlier in the day. Change the room. Different routes, same objective. Contact without bypass. Checkpoint. By the end of this stage, you can catch the moment a trigger pulls you into a role, name the inverted desire, run a 5-minute reversal, and do one tiny behavior that honors the disowned trait. If that sequence is online, the shadow stops running you from the basement and starts fueling you from the core. Now your chaos reps have depth, not just grit. Nervous system skills, stay with the surge. Before we add any more chaos, you need fieldcraft, the skills that keep you online while the surge moves through. Why this matters is simple. Capacity beats clarity. Insight helps, but if your body flips into threat, learning shuts off and you default to old scripts. These skills let you stay in contact without suppressing what's happening. So exposure turns into wiring, not whiplash. The thing most people miss is you don't need to feel calm to be regulated. Regulated means you can sense, choose, and recover. You're not erasing activation, you're making room for it. Do that well, and your edges become training partners instead of enemies. Here's what we're building. Pendulation, microdosing intensity, orienting, and exhale-weighted breathing, stacked into a 90-second wave you can run anywhere. Each is simple alone. Together they flip your state from threat to challenge, so your cortex stays online. Pendulation first. This is the back and forth between a hot spot and a neutral spot in your body. Why it works? You're teaching your system that intensity has edges, and those edges include safety. What to do? Find where the surge lives, jaw, chest, gut. Feel it for 5 seconds. Then shift attention to a neutral or pleasant area. Feet on the floor, hands warmth, the chair's support, for 5 seconds. Alternate 3 to 5 rounds. You're not escaping, you're building range. Common mistake, camping in comfort and never returning. You need the swing. Microdosing intensity is next. Most people either brace or flood. We want titration, a sip of heat you can metabolize. Pick one variable to nudge, slightly slower exhale, slightly slower speech, slightly longer pause before replying. Do not pile on 5 techniques. That's control dressed as healing. One notch, felt clearly, teaches precision. After a win, increase 5 to 10%, not 50%. Orienting keeps you in the present. Under threat, attention collapses inward and narrow. Orienting widens it back out. Let your eyes move. Gently scan the room. Name 5 things you see, 3 sounds you hear, 1 texture you feel. Don't analyze, label. This tells your nervous system, we're here, not back there. Mistake to avoid, doing this in your head with eyes frozen. Let the head and eyes actually move. Now exhale weighted breathing, the glue that holds it together. Longer exhales cue your parasympathetic system without making you drowsy. Try a 4-count inhale, 6, 8-count exhale. If counts feel fussy, use ratio. Make the out-breath about twice as long as the in-breath. Keep the breath easy in the belly. Avoid over-breathing in the chest. Common misstep, forcing huge breaths that spike dizziness. Gentle wins. Let's assemble the 90-second wave you'll use during any edge. Step 1, feel. Find the hot spot. Sensation, tight chest. Step 2, label. Name the core emotion plainly. Fear, anger, shame. One word disarms storytelling. Step 3, exhale. 2 to 3 rounds of longer out-breaths. Let the shoulders drop on the exhale. Step 4, widen. Soften your gaze, take in the periphery, name 2 colors in the room. Step 5, pendulate. 5 seconds in the hot spot, 5 seconds in a neutral spot, 2 to 3 times. Step 6, proceed. Take the smallest next action, while keeping a light attention on the body. The reason this works, you're pairing arousal with agency. State-dependent plasticity means your brain updates when activation coexists with choice. You're not waiting to calm down before you act. You're acting from a steadier platform while activated. That pairing is the rewiring. Let me show you exactly how this looks in a conversation. Trigger hits, someone interrupts. Surge rises, heat in face, jaw tight. Run the wave silently. Label anger. 2 slow exhales. Soften gaze to see the whole person, not just their mouth. Pendulate jaw to feet twice. Then, 1 line. I want to finish that thought. That sentence delivered after regulation trains your system that truth plus heat is survivable. Debrief later to lock it in. 4 physical edges, cold finish, tempo lifts. The wave looks the same. Feel the urge to rush, label anxiety. Lengthen exhale on the slow lowering phase. Keep eyes soft on a stable point. Pendulate between burning muscle and the contact of feet. Then continue for 1 more clean rep, not 5. Precision, not punishment. Common mistakes to watch, bracing everywhere. Scan jaw, shoulders, belly, hands. Soften a little, not all at once. Micro-softening keeps tone without rigidity. Thought suppressing. Don't battle thoughts. Mark them as story and return to sensation. Fighting thoughts is more threat. Technique stacking. 1 breath, 1 orient, 1 pendulation is enough. If you need a spreadsheet, it's too much. Quick when you can install today. 3 times a day during mild stress. Email backlog. Line at the store. Run 5 exhale-weighted breaths and widen your gaze. Tag 1 sensation. That's it. You're teaching this sequence under low stakes, so it's available under load. Microstory. A lawyer client used to white-knuckle every hearing. We installed the wave at 2 cues. When their name was called and before closing remarks. Week 1, they felt underwater but not drowning. Week 3, their voice steadied, and they noticed the judge's micro-expressions, which changed their pacing. Same law, better nervous system. Results followed. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Feel first, name it plain, lengthen the outbreath, widen the world, then move 1 inch. Do that, and every chaos rep becomes a lesson your body can keep. Anti-bypass tests you can't fake. You've heard the ideas. Now give yourself guardrails you can't sweet talk. These tests anchor change in time, body, other people, and cost. They're simple, uncomfortable, and merciless, in the best way. The 72-hour repair test. When harm happens, a clock starts. Inside 72 hours, did you initiate a specific repair step the affected person could feel? Not a reflection, not a vow, an action. I spoke to HR and filed the report. I posted the correction. I replaced the item I broke and set a check-in. If you missed the window, log it. Name a consequence you agreed to beforehand, and shorten the next window. Why 72? It's long enough to regulate and plan, short enough to stop avoidance from hardening into policy. Microstory. After snapping at a teammate, a designer DMs within 2 hours, posts an acknowledgement in the channel, and asks ops to timebox her next speaking turn. The room softens because the repair beat the story. The body truth test. Words say one thing, physiology tells on you. Before, during, and after a repair, check 3 signals: breath, depth, jaw, and feet. Can you breathe into your belly? Is your jaw soft or set? Do your feet feel weight on the floor? Add voice tone, warm and variable or thin and flat. If your body stays braced while you deliver a serene apology, you're performing calm. State honesty isn't virtue signaling, it's accuracy. I'm apologizing and I notice my chest is tight. That single line prevents your nervous system from outsourcing tension to the other person. The third-party mirror. Your progress isn't what you announce, it's what the impacted report. Pick 2 people touched by your change and ask them, separately, for a no-prompt reflection on observable behavior over the last month. Have you seen shorter time to repair? Have my boundaries been clearer? Record their words verbatim. Don't interpret. If their mirror contradicts your self-story, weight the mirror. Then adjust your plan. Microstory. A manager swears she's listening better. 2 reports say, you interrupt less, but you still recap our ideas as yours. The fix becomes structural. Rotating note-taker, attributions in writing. The time consistency test. Can you hold the new behavior under stress, not just on good weeks? Track 3 contexts: rested day, fatigued day, conflict day. Same boundary? Same repair speed? Same tone? Consistency under load is the difference between a phase and a pattern. Run a month-long tally, 3 checkmarks per week minimum. Misses trigger a pre-agreed micro-consequence that redistributes cost back to you. You take the tough shift, you lose scheduling privilege, you fund the team lunch. The cost ledger. What did it cost you to live your values? Money, time, status, comfort? Write it down weekly. Refunded 2 clients. Stepped down from a panel. Paid for childcare to keep a repair meeting. Skipped a retreat to fund therapy. If your ledger is blank while others absorb costs, bypass is thriving. If the costs cluster as short, sharp, and chosen by you, you're on track. Cost clarifies commitment. It also quiets defensiveness. When you can name what you paid, you don't need to over-explain. Run the suite together for one event. Example, you missed a deadline that stalled a colleague. 72 hours. You remove scope, publish a revised plan, and offer to take their Friday task. Body truth. I feel hot and keyed up. I'm slowing down so I don't bulldoze. Third-party mirror. After 2 weeks, they report your check-ins are timely and smaller. Time consistency. You hit the next 3 deadlines despite a sick kid and a launch fire. Cost ledger. You ate 2 late nights and cancelled a podcast slot. That's proof. You'll want to argue edge cases. What if the person won't engage? Your test isn't their response. It's your initiation, your body honesty, your consistent pattern, your paid cost. What if the system blocks repair? Log the attempts, escalate, invite witnesses, and shift cost toward the blocker. Public risk log, documented asks, external oversight. Your ledger shows the load you chose to carry toward integrity. Make these tests public in your circle. Post your repair window, keep a shared cost ledger line, rotate third-party mirrors, normalize body truth in meetings. When systems adopt unfakeable tests, theater loses oxygen. Proof gets boring and real. Communities, coaches, and cult dynamics. By now, you can see how bypass shows up in people. Scale that to a room with money, microphones, and a mission, and it hardens into doctrine. Group bypass feels righteous because everyone agrees at once. Harm multiplies because nobody wants to be the one who brings the vibe down. The stakes are bigger. When leaders sanctify avoidance, victims lose exits, bystanders lose courage, and the story edits itself to keep the machine running. Watch the pattern. A coaching collective sells quantum breakthroughs. Inside, doubt is labeled scarcity mindset. Members are told to up-level by buying the next tier. Refund requests are framed as resistance. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, assistants are unpaid and DMs are scripted to mirror empathy while closing sales. The community looks bonded. It's really bonded to bypass. Another scene, a spiritual center preaches unity. There's no grievance process because we handle conflict in the heart. When a staffer reports a leader's boundary violations, the response is a circle with candles and a closing prayer. No notes, no timeline, no consequence. The leader stays. The staffer leaves and is described as not ready. The doctrine protected the hierarchy. Here are the red flags. Purity culture. Language that sorts people into high frequency and contracted, awake and asleep. Secrecy. Off-record instructions, inner circle access, NDAs disguised as container integrity. Speed of forgiveness. Rapid reconciliation demanded to prove devotion. And the big one, no independent, written grievance process with public steps and timeframes. If harm has to pass through the leader's ideology to be heard, you're already in a loyalty test. Tactics are subtle and effective. Gaslighting via teachings. Citing scripture or quotes to reinterpret your perception of harm. Weaponized optimism. We don't name problems, we create solutions, used to silence specifics. Loyalty tests. Choreographed applause, public testimonials, love-bombing new members who comply, and cooling toward those who ask concrete questions. The nervous system reads the room. Speak truth, lose belonging. Case sketches. A retreat center pressures harmed people to reconcile before airport pickup. We can't hold bad energy in the space. Translation. Conflict costs money. A startup-style coaching org requires personal breakthrough shares on stage, then uses the content for marketing without consent. When challenged, leadership says, "Your discomfort is your edge." Translation. Your boundary threatens our funnel. So what fixes this at scale? Put structure where doctrine used to be. A transparent repair policy that anyone can find without asking permission. How to report, to whom, what happens next, protective measures during review, possible outcomes, appeal paths. Independent oversight with real power. Ombuds, board members unrelated to revenue, survivor-centered advisors who aren't students of the leader. Slow care as a norm. No reconciliation circles for at least 30 days after a report, and only with opt-in consent and veto rights for the harmed at every step. Make processes boring on purpose. Publish quarterly anonymized summaries. Number of reports, categories, actions, average time to resolution. Announce when leaders face consequences and what those are: role changes, pay cuts, sabbaticals, removal. Remove the glamour from accountability so it stops being a spectacle and becomes an expectation. Build safety into the physical and digital room. Clear channels that bypass the leader. External email, hotline, anonymous form with anti-retaliation guarantees. Ban public testimonies as social currency. Move praise to private feedback. Move improvement to measurable metrics. End inner circle mystique. Replace it with rotating governance roles, term limits, and cross-checks on finances. If your teacher is also your employer and your therapist and your landlord, that's not a sangha, that's a trap. Microstory. A yoga collective audits itself after a scandal. They freeze new memberships, bring in an outside investigator, and publish findings with actions. 2 teachers step down for a year. A new code of conduct goes live. Class assistants get wage floors, and a grievance portal opens with 72-hour acknowledgement guarantees. Attendance dips. 6 months later, steadier. Former students return because policy replaced vibes. You'll hear the pushback. This is bureaucracy killing spirit. Try this line. Structure protects the sacred from our shortcuts. Or, if the teaching is true, it can survive a paper trail. You'll also hear, we can't afford oversight. If a community can afford branding but not safety, it's not ready to scale. Train leaders' bodies, not just their mouths. Require state checks before and during hard conversations. Breath, tone, orientation. Teach them to spot shutdown masquerading as Zen. Make accountability part of compensation. Bonuses tied to time to repair, retention of harmed members, and adherence to process. Finally, protect dissent. Create a norm where asking, "What's our repair step?" gets applause, not side-eye. Post the sentence on the wall. Let the room learn that care with consequence is what keeps them together. While that was happening in rooms like this, something else was moving through history that made bypassing so sticky. And it didn't start last year. Where spiritual bypassing came from, and why it stuck. To understand why the room loves bypass, we need to go back. The term spiritual bypassing was coined by psychologist John Welwood in 1984. Watching. Sincere practitioners use meditation and lofty ideals to hop over grief, anger, and unfinished development. He named what he saw. Practices meant to liberate were being used to avoid. It wasn't malice. It was relief. And relief sells. Zoom out to the 1970s. The human potential movement promised rapid transformation. Western seekers imported Eastern teachings, Zen, Vedanta, Tibetan lineages, often stripped of context, hierarchy, and the slow apprenticeship that grounds non-duality in ethics. Meanwhile, therapy entered living rooms, but stigma lingered. A fusion emerged. Insight language without the relational scaffolding that keeps it honest. Enlightenment now met feel better fast. Bypass found a perfect climate. Culturally, we were primed. American individualism says the self is sovereign. You alone craft your fate. Add the just world bias. The comforting belief that people get what they deserve. And you've got moralized narratives ready to explain pain without touching systems. The gig economy amplified it later. Precarious lives need optimism to keep moving. Mindset is everything becomes survival code. If meaning can turn layoffs into lessons, you can keep your feet under you. The cost is blame hidden in a smile. There were industry incentives. New teachers, coaches, and wellness brands needed growth. Quick fix marketing beats 10 years of slow repair. Algorithms reward certainty, clean aesthetics, and digestible tips. Complexity, the kind that names power, trauma, and consequence, underperforms. So timelines fill with high-vibe reels, karmic captions, and non-dual punchlines. The medium trains the message to simplify. Bypass fits the frame. Psychology had threads that made this sticky. Defense mechanisms, repression, denial, projection, have always offered shortcuts out of discomfort. Dissociation gives real relief from overload. It can feel like spiritual clarity if you don't know the signs. Experiential avoidance, dodging internal states with reframes or rituals, reduces distress now while hardening patterns later. Package these as wisdom and they move faster, because they're already what the nervous system wants to do under threat. Meanwhile, communities rewarded certainty. If you could talk cosmic while staying calm, you were seen as advanced. If you cried, shook, or demanded structure, you were attached. The social economy flipped care on its head. The skill of staying with pain got devalued. The skill of sounding serene got paid. Charismatic leaders thrived by radiating ease and offering language that lifted people out of the mess. Repair felt small next to rapture. There's historical irony here. Many Eastern traditions are explicit about sequencing. Stabilize ethics and livelihood, then cultivate concentration, then insight, then integrate through service and accountability. In translation, the early steps got labeled basic. Westerners grabbed the peak states and skipped the guardrails. As one scholar quipped, we imported the summit without the mountain. Communities paid for it in hidden harm. The modern wellness boom poured fuel on the pattern. Supplements, biohacks, breathwork gear, all useful in context, became identity. I'm doing the protocol replaced I made amends. Influencer economies needed daily content. Repair is slow and private. So the camera turned toward morning routines, not evening reconciliation. The public saw what was performable. Bypass traveled by visibility. Why does it persist? Relief is addictive, and communities echo it back. Algorithms reinforce it. Leaders benefit from ambiguity because clear process limits power. And the body remembers that certainty drops heart rate. When a phrase can move your physiology in 10 seconds, your system will reach for it the next time heat rises. Without counter-training, that reach becomes reflex. There's another reason. Systems prefer individuals to self-blame. If a layoff is karma or mindset, the company stays holy. If burnout is your vibration, no policy changes. Bypass keeps the machine humming by returning load to the smallest unit, the person. It's tidy. It's devastating. And yet, the story isn't cynical. Across traditions and fields, people are rebuilding the scaffolding, trauma-informed practice, staged repair, independent oversight, embodied checks. The arc back to grounded care is old, not new. Our task is to put the mountain under the summit again. Bring ethics, bodies, and boring process back to the front. Bring it back to you. Let's architect a personal anti-bypass plan. Your anti-bypass blueprint. Bring it back to you. Build rails you can hold when heat rises. Start with a personal credo. 3 lines you'll keep under stress. Short, body rememberable, consequence-backed. Examples. Repair within 72 hours. No reconciliation before safety. Evidence over identity. Write them by hand. Say them out loud once a day for a week, so your nervous system hears the cadence before you need it. Name your non-negotiable boundaries and they're ladders. A boundary is the line. The ladder is what happens when it's crossed. No yelling in our home. Ladder. First cross ends the conversation and triggers a 24-hour pause. Second cross moves to separate rooms for the night. Third cross opens a mediated plan. You don't threaten, you execute the next rung. Boundaries without ladders become wishful thinking. Install 2 weekly practices that expand negative capacity. The ability to stay with what you'd rather escape. One is private. 10 minutes every Sunday to sit with one unpleasant emotion, labeled simply, while tracking breath in the belly. No fixing. No reframing. The second is relational. A 5-minute midweek repair ritual with someone you trust. One impact named, one action taken, one appreciation said. Repeat until the awkwardness fades and the habit feels like brushing your teeth. Create a repair ritual you can run half asleep. 4 beats. Name harm in 1 sentence. Name 1 bodily sensation. State the first repair step with a timestamp. Ask if anything urgent is missing. Keep a printed card in your wallet or notes app. When shame scrambles your words, the ritual speaks for you. Build your support ring. 2 people, not 10. 1 buddy for body truth who will mirror your state. Your jaw is tight. And 1 for behavior truth who will ask the only question that matters. What changed? Meet bi-weekly for 20 minutes. Share your repair ledger, not your theories. Rotate the hot seat. End with 1 scheduled check-in on your biggest boundary for the next week. Do a monthly audit. Open your ledger and ask 5 questions. Where did I miss the 72-hour window? Where did I hold a line under stress? Who carried costs that belonged to me? Which lie tried to sneak back? And where? What 1 process change makes the next repair easier? Implement 1 change immediately. Calendar block, template email, pre-written consequence. Set an escalation path, so stuck doesn't mean stop. If the person you harmed won't engage, move to a neutral action. Return items, correct public records, notify relevant parties. If your system blocks repair, stonewalling boss, broken HR, document attempts, recruit a witness, and escalate to an oversight body or external advisor. Your integrity shouldn't hinge on their cooperation. Install language hygiene. Ban phrases you use to dodge contact. It's all good, meant to be, from the absolute, from the first 2 minutes of any hard conversation. Replace them with specifics and states. Here's what I did. Here's what I feel. Here's what I'll do by Friday. Add one, both slash and to keep room for meaning. Both I'm scared and I'm sending the email. Give yourself a relapse plan. When you bypass, you don't start over, you resume the sequence. Script a sentence you'll send in the first hour after you catch it. I tried to reframe. I'm correcting. First action by 5 p.m. Tie a micro-consequence to the miss that redistributes cost. Cover a shift, pay a fee, lose a privilege. Then run a 5-minute debrief. What cue did I miss? Where will I put it next time? Quarterly, set one discomfort goal that advances integrity, not aesthetics. Present the repair policy to the board. Have the salary conversation. Publish the anonymized report. Tie it to a date and a co-witness. Celebrate completion with rest, not a new project. Your system learns that truth ends in recovery, not endless grind. Finally, put the credo where you'll see it under pressure. Car visor, lock screen, first slide of decks. When the room heats up, you won't remember philosophy. You'll remember lines you've rehearsed. Repair within 72 hours, safety before reconciliation, evidence over identity. That's your mountain under the summit. The line you hold. Real spirituality isn't an escape hatch. It's the next small, costly, specific act you take when escaping would feel easier. Run the 72-hour repair test this week on one thing that matters. Then tell us what actually changed. Subscribe for the deep dive on healing versus dissociation next. And cue the Boundaries episode for word-for-word scripts you can use tonight.